Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial download festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and your chance to get involved and ask your questions too. So now let's welcome my fellow hosts. First of all, we've got Lee Ellingham back again.
Hello.
Hello, you all right?
Yeah, you?
Reasonable. How are things down south, which is where you are?
It's chilly, windy.
High Wycombe, is that where you are?
That's it, yeah.
With all them cockneys?
No, not Cockney at all. If people from this end of Buckinghamshire could hear you say that, they'd all be like, "No, absolutely not. We speak the Queen's English over here."
Really? It's just the south to me. I don't understand.
No, I tell you what. It's the same with the west. Sorry, Dave, and the same with the north. To me, everyone in the north sounds the same. Everyone in the west sounds the same.
It's true, isn't it? Speaking of which, we've got Dave Kingdon with us.
Hiya.
Hello. You're in the west, southwest, is it, or is it just west?
Yeah, even further south than everyone else.
You've gone south.
South as south will go.
And your accent is more of a sort of Cornish sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, I think Dave's accent it's a soft one. I think Dave's is quite a soft Cornish accent. doesn't curl his R's too much.
Dave's got a soft one. You heard it here first. So find us on the socials by looking for Festpod, and you can even send us a voice message by going to anchor.fm/Festpod and click on message. Say hi, ask our advice about download, or just chime in with whatever you want. That's at anchor.fm/Festpod and just click on message. So we always start off the show with the Download Festival news. So we've got one or two things to talk about this time round. The lineup poster for Download is still not complete, and we've got a few rumours, bit of speculation about who might be added onto that list. Who have you heard?
One name that keeps cropping up. It's on all the lineups for most of the festivals in Europe. Dave will be quite happy with this one. Dropkick Murphys, sort of an Irish folky punk band. They seem to be on every single lineup for other festivals in Europe, apart from Download. So I can only imagine that they could, or they will, be at Download next year.
I don't think they've played Download for a few years either.
Sounds like they're in demand anyway. I haven't actually heard of them before. Are they quite a big band?
Yeah,
we'll hand this one to Dave, I think.
Fairly well known. Yeah, they've got a big following, obviously in Ireland and everywhere else in the world.
When you listen to them, do you get mental images of Ireland?
Yeah. Well, they're actually. I mean, they're just a Celtic band, so
okay, fine.
I think it's more on the punk, the sort of the punkier side than Irish folk. But
yeah, I mean they're an American band.
Oh,
but
I see.
They definitely have Irish influences, and some of their songs, like they use jigs and reels and things like that.
Okay,
cool. In
cool.
with the kind of punky rock as well. So.
And have you got all their CDs? Have you?
No, I haven't actually, but I've listened to them on Spotify, etc.
CDs? What are they?
Yeah,
vinyl records, Neil. What are they? We haven't seen one of those in a long time. In fact, do you know what?
Actually,
vinyl records are making a comeback. In fact, they're making more money than actual CDs at the moment.
Oh, do you know what? I was just about to say that statistically, they are the more in demand of the two between the CDs and vinyls now. It's now vinyls has overtaken. So the 80s are coming back.
Well, why do you think that is?
I want to use this term loosely and not hopefully offend anybody, but I think hipsters, because it was such a cool thing back in the 80s, obviously that's the way everyone listened to their music, 80s, 70s sort of era, that it's a cool retro thing. Everyone loves something that's retro, and vinyl is just one of those things.
Okay.
It is also there's a big argument about sound quality as well. But a lot of the streaming sites like downgrade the audio, whereas if you're listening from it straight from the vinyl, then it's going to sound a lot better if you've got a decent setup.
On my Spotify account, I've got an option for something like HD listening or high quality. Or...
Yeah, but sometimes even then it just doesn't sound as good. But then obviously it's more convenient. It's more convenient having a million songs in your pocket than carrying around a vinyl player everywhere. But
yeah, you don't see that really, do you?
No, the massive boom boxes on your shoulder still.
yeah.
There's even a resurgence in cassettes, which I can't understand.
Oh, I've seen a few bands that they are releasing like cassettes again. Maybe it's right. We've gone for trying to bring back the vinyl. That's worked successfully. Let's see if we can bring back cassettes. But cassettes were sort of the in between CDs and vinyl that just wasn't really great, as far as I'm aware.
Awful quality, and you have to be very patient in trying to find the next track when you fast forwarding, because there's no just one button and it skips straight there. You've got to guess where it might be. Fast forward, play. Is that it? No. Fast forward, play. Is that it? No. Okay. And it was a faff. I don't understand why anybody wants to go back to them, really.
No, we'll stick with vinyl or digital. That's okay.
Yeah. So who else have we got rumoured to be coming to download then?
There are still a few bands that have been unconfirmed that were originally playing or meant to be playing this year that haven't said yes or no yet. So potentially in the next announcement for download, some of those may come back.
Which ones have you heard that haven't confirmed yes or no?
There's Motionless in White, I think. Fire from the Gods. Disturbed and Bowling for Soup. I've not checked.
I think Bowling for Soup
checked them recently, but go on.
I think Bowling for Soup would be, I'd say 75% to a yes, because even in the download TV, they said in so many words that they were going to come back. So yeah, I really hope they do, because they were one of the bands I really wanted to see for this year. I don't know.
Have we got all the ones back for 21 that were supposed to come in 20? I mean, have most of them returned?
Most of them, probably 75%, I'd say. But there are obviously a few that couldn't come back for whatever reasons, if they've got other tours or commitments. Obviously, the big one being Iron Maiden.
Yeah. So, is there anybody that you're really hoping will appear at download that hasn't yet been put on that poster?
Big names for me would be I think the Offspring confirmed they couldn't, which I was really glad about. I was hoping they would, but like I said, Bowling for Soup, definitely one of the ones that I would like to have back. Other than them, for me, most of the bands that I was desperate to see are and have been reconfirmed. For
me, I'd probably say of the bands that haven't been confirmed yet, Polyphia. They're very good instrumental. And I was a bit gutted because their guitarist guested on the new Baby Metal album, and obviously Baby Metal were meant to be playing this year. So I was hoping they'd maybe like get up on the stage for a track or something, but Baby Metal.
Are you a big Baby Metal fan, Dave?
Yeah, I like them. I've seen them a couple of times. Obviously, the first time I saw them was my first download in 2016.
There's nothing else quite like Baby Metal, is there?
No, they're very unique.
I've never ever seen anyone do what they do before or since or anywhere else, and it's quite a unique thing. You either like it or you don't.
Like Marmite.
Or those new orange flavoured twirls that they've got. Some people don't like them, but I like them, so I'm in the orange twirl camp. So other festivals in the UK and Europe have been announcing for 2021 as well as Download. Now, there's quite a few that we would also expect to see at Download who have confirmed elsewhere.
This week alone, that 5 festivals within the UK and in Europe have announced lineups. I posted it on our socials yesterday. And there are a few names on there that you would expect to see at Download, because some of the festivals have got names that are already on the Download lineup. For example, Creeper are playing 2000 Trees. They are at Download as well. Wargasm, Loath, Higher Power. But the bands that I would like to see at Download that are at other festivals, I'd love to see Queens of the Stone Age. But
are they confirmed for other festivals?
They're at Reading.
Oh,
which makes them quite unlikely to do Download, because obviously it's already a UK festival, but it doesn't rule them out entirely.
Why have they gone to Reading? There's some people who signed for Reading, and I think, why have you gone there? Come to Download. It's much better.
I think it's money. I think it might also be because Download and Reading are both sort of run by Festival Republic and Live Nation. I think that Reading's supposed to be the massive mixture with the commercial music and the more alternative music that you wouldn't get on the radio, whereas Download seems to be more, again, the rock alternative metal side that you don't ever hear on commercial radio.
Yeah, that's true.
And obviously Download, in comparison to other festivals, Download has a sort of quite a niche fan base and almost fairly an elitist fan base.
That's true.
So when it comes to, again, Queens of the Stone Age would fit right in at Download. We know that.
Yeah.
Same with Rage Against the Machine that got announced for Reading for it was supposed to be this year, but they're not doing Reading now. I would prefer to see Queens of the Stone Age at Download, but the people at Live Nation seem to think they'd be better fit at end of August at Reading and Leeds.
See, I don't want to go to Reading and Leeds. I don't want to go there.
I've heard very negative reviews. Obviously, my fiance, she did press, I believe, at Reading a few years ago, and she was going to stay for the whole Sunday, she would have then seen Korn, Eminem, but it got incredibly busy. Obviously, the capacity is huge. It got incredibly busy.
So Reading and Leeds are not for everybody. It's a particular kind of audience that they have. It's not a crossover with Download.
It can be. I do know of people that, again, they do both festivals. It's just that particular sort of stereotype of a particular person of society fills Reading and Leeds up, which might ruin it for the average downloader. Yeah.
There's some crossover, but not enough to make it nice for us to go.
No, absolutely. Do you know what? That's probably the nicest way to put it.
Yeah, fair enough. So, are there any other big names that are signed up elsewhere that we can be jealous of?
Jimmy Eat World are doing 2000. They're headlining 2000 Trees. Now they're a pop punk band from when Dave and I were young teenagers, I want to say, and I'd absolutely love to see them headline the third stage if they could. But I believe because they're headlining 2000 Trees, it's probably a no.
2000 Trees have been doing a lot of announcing this week, haven't they?
Every day this week, they've announced acts. I think Monday was the headliners for the Thursday and Friday. And then it was the full lineup of the Thursday on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was the Friday lineup. Thursday was the Saturday lineup, and I was assumed on the Friday they would announce the Saturday headliners, but they haven't yet. I wonder whether they are holding out to make this massive announcement, which would then see their ticket sales go through the roof. But having said that, another festival, Arctangent, are doing the exact same method of announcing this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they will announce the lineup bit by bit, and by Friday next week you will see the full Arctangent lineup, which is again a good indicator with whether who may or may not be at Download. Plus, it's an alternative festival that one day I do want to try.
How many festivals are there out there that are like Download?
Oh, it depends on the size you're talking. I mean, Download is, I think, the biggest of the alternative festivals in the UK. And then you go down to, again, like 2000 Trees, Arctangent, Tech Fest, Radar Fest, Bloodstock Fest. The list is very long. There's a festival in the north in Manchester, Damnation Festival, which is again black metal and death metal sort of style, and prog. There's loads. You'd imagine with the amount of people that come to Download every year, you'd imagine that was the only one. But you've got all the festivals just mentioned. They have a fairly small capacity comparison. And even some people say that the smaller festivals are the better festival compared to Download. I don't believe it. I love Bloodstock. Don't get me wrong. But Download, because it's got more of the music that I like, to me it's a better festival.
What about you, Dave? Have you ever been to any other metal or rock festivals?
No, I really want to go to Arctangent soon. It's the worst time of year for me because it's like sort of end of August, like bank holiday kind of weekend. But every year it's been like 50% of the lineup. I've been like, really want to see them.
See, I've never heard of 2000 Trees, but that's become very prominent to me now. And I'm just really curious. I'm eager to see how other people do it.
Radar Festival has almost like popped up overnight. Like I remember talking to Lee about it when they first announced this new festival, and we were like, oh, I'll keep an eye on that. And then they announced like some pretty big bands for the first year. And I mean, even again this year, they've got like some exclusive performances.
Yeah, again, speaking of crossovers, Radar Fest have Sleep Token, who are quite high up on their bill. Again, they'll be on the third stage at Download this year, and they're one of the bands that I cannot wait to see.
Hacken as well.
Yeah. Do you remember Hacktivist from Download's lineup in 2018?
Wow, Hacktivist, yeah.
They're playing Radar Fest as well.
I enjoyed watching them. So there's plenty to look forward to. This is all, scheduled for next year, 2021, provided that we can all go to festivals by then. This is the only thing, isn't it? Because with the extension of the coronavirus limitations until 2021, they're getting dangerously close to the start of spring by the time they're potentially over with. So what do you think about the preparations for all these festivals, not just Download, but how are we expecting this to play out? Do we think it'll be done by then? I mean, what's Download going to do?
So the head of Reading and Leeds Festival has already come out with the enemy and said he wants people to be tested before they turn up, which I think is a great idea, but it will make the queue getting in like 100 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I suggested that everyone that is attending the festival, when they've bought their ticket, leading up to the festival, I mean, a very small time frame of 1 week to 2 weeks, if the tests are available, because we keep getting told they are, and then they're not, they are, they're not. So if the tests are available, everyone that's going needs to have a valid negative result from a test and to have proof of it before they enter the festival. If you're negative with your ticket, you can go in. If you're positive, you already paid for your ticket. I assume that can be worked out. But I think everyone who's intending to go needs to be tested before they go.
And those tests would have to be done literally the day before or something, wouldn't they? Because, I mean, how long can you be negative on a coronavirus test for before you're exposed again and could potentially pick it up?
The worst thing that I've heard about that sort of thing is a very famous footballer one day was tested and came away negative. The next day he was tested. His temperature was up or something. He had no symptoms. He was then tested that day and apparently they had a quick turnaround of within minutes, and he was told that he was positive. I know our Prime Minister has said that he wants to get a sort of a pregnancy test style test put into place, which can give you a turnaround of 20 minutes to find out whether you're positive or negative.
Does that exist?
Which I think is a fantastic. Before we go down a rabbit hole of another topic, I mean, from history with our courageous leader, he's always going either back on a U-turn, or he's filling us all with non-truths, dreams. So I mean, I think it would be. I think the idea is fantastic, and if it can be in place, that'd be amazing. Yeah. But I don't have much faith in politics at the minute. No.
So it would be nice if we could be tested, instantly and on the door sort of thing, and find out straight away whether we could get in or not. But whether that's going to happen or not is another question. There's a place where I go through work where to get in, you have to walk through where people go in. They test you by looking at your temperature. So they've got some sort of temperature gun thing which they point at you, and you can see yourself. It's like a thermal heat image of yourself walking down this pathway. That's some technology. I usually come out at 35.9, which I'm assuming is okay, because I always get in. I don't know what's a bad reading. But
I think it's over 37 degrees, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. I mean, maybe they could employ something like that. What do you think, Dave?
It's a touchy subject, isn't it? Because if you're queuing up, obviously keeping social distancing, but if you're queuing up with thousands of other people, and I don't know how you're just going to wait around for 20 minutes to be told you're positive, and then you've already come into contact with other people.
This is very true.
So
this is why I suggested that we need to get, like, people should, if you're going to get tested on the door, still get tested beforehand, so that you can say to them, well, I've had my test. Here's the proof from the NHS saying I'm fine.
But then, like you say with that footballer, if one person gets it and they're in, obviously we're still going to try and adhere to social distancing, probably, I assume, even next June, but it's still a risk, isn't it? So I really don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, I think that's why he's given till like 6 months down the line for it to, like, he believes, and he's following the science. He believes that within 6 months this thing will get a hold of it, and we'll have vaccines and tests and all sorts by then to allow everything to go back to normal. But I mean, from our perspective, when we record this, these new restrictions have just come into place. So the 10 o'clock closing time for pubs and hospitality has just been put in place. And I've just seen footage of people pouring out of pubs and all sorts onto the streets at like 10 o'clock at night, and it's just crowds everywhere. And I don't know what that's going to do. I mean, when you put that into perspective at somewhere like Download, where we're all drinking, hopefully, all I can think is that there'll be a vaccine between now and then, and that will save us all. That will save our festivals. I don't want to sound so negative, but I mean, you and I spoke about this, I think, back in April, and we'd hoped that by the end of this year we'd have one, and we're slowly but surely getting towards the end of the year. And I mean, there is positive steps in the right direction for one, but we still haven't physically got one yet.
No. There is recently there's just been an announcement of a very, very, very small festival in Cornwall, and they're implementing like social bubbles. So you buy a ticket which is for 6 people, and then you stay within your bubble.
Wow. So
it's still like you're still in front of a stage, and I'm not quite sure how you go to the bar, or if maybe they have an app or something. I'm not sure, but they're at least trying to, continue with live music. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that would possibly work for download because it's huge. But
wow, that's interesting.
It's potential.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I agree with you. I can't see it working for download because, I mean, for me, half the experience is meeting people as well. I mean, you can do social distancing meeting people. It's still awkward, though, isn't it? It's not how you want it to be. I guess the best we can do at all is just cross our fingers and hope that it all goes away.
Yeah, hope. That's all we need.
Next, we'll get some advice about going to download in the guide. In this section, we'll try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things we recommend and things to avoid. This week, we'll talk about the arena. So, the arena. What is the arena at Download?
It's where all the magic happens.
It is. I like that very much, that description. So what exactly is in the arena?
So you got 4 stages with over 110 bands throughout the weekend. Fairground rides. You got tons of food vendors for everybody's allergies, and you've got merchandise stores for official download stuff, the band merch stuff, and even some merchandise lines that you wouldn't see on the high street. I'm going to throw one out. Offend My Eyes.
Yes.
That's a stall that's a big old festival. Bars, wine and prosecco vans, real ale bars, the Danish Quarter, which you and I, Neil, discovered last year together, and it was amazing.
It's basically an outdoor pub, isn't it?
Yeah. And one thing that is brand new to download that will come into place in 2021 is the new VIP viewing, which is located to stage left, and it's just before you get to the front section. So you're on a raised platform looking at the stage, almost like the disabled wheelchair access ramps, basically for people that want to pay the extra money to get a better view.
I love walking around the arena because every year I've discovered new things and either new vendors or new bands or new. Everything's new every time I go around, and I love just exploring and finding out what's the situation this year, and what new things can I find. What are some of your favourite things that you've ever found in the arena?
Just again, like you say, when you're just randomly walking around and you poke your nose into like a little vendor or a tent or something, you're looking there, and you got like lines and lines of CDs and vinyls and patches, and just the discoveries that you make just by looking at these tents, just walking around. Yeah. Specifically for me, it's finding a sort of a section of like CDs that you wouldn't end up finding ever in your HMV or even, well, you would find it on Amazon. You find everything on Amazon, but yeah.
For me, it's got to be Bunny Man's Bunny Chow.
Oh, the Bunny Man's Bunny Chow. Yes.
What is that?
The Brazilian It's Brazilian chili in a. So they hollow out a. Oh, excuse me. You are right. They hollow out a like a half a loaf of bread. Stuff it with South African chili, top it off with sour cream or hummus if you're vegan, with some garlic bread on top. It's absolutely fantastic. You eat the chili out, but then you're the bread to munch on as well. And
that's when did you have that, Dave?
It's been there the last couple of years, hasn't it? As far as I can remember.
Yeah, I've had it the last 3 years that we've been.
Yeah,
that's sort of my go-to.
They do a vegan option as well, and I think it was called Hot as Hell. It's like extra spicy.
Yeah.
They do some amazing food at those vendors. Actually, I think some of my favourite things that I've found is, I mean, it's not very complicated, but it's just a great big Yorkshire pudding with a Sunday dinner inside of it, covered in gravy.
They're very popular.
Oh, I love those. It's like a tradition. I have to have one every year because they're so nice. I mean, the food is expensive, but then everything is expensive when you go to a festival. It's not unique in being expensive for food.
No, it's what I mentioned. I think what I mentioned last time was what was called the festival tax.
But you've got to budget for that. So unless you bring all of your food with you, and eat it from your backpack, which I think is quite a boring way of doing things at a festival, then you're going to spend money on food, and it isn't cheap. But it's well worth the experience. I've had one of the nicest kebabs I've ever had at Download Festival. It was huge, actually. You can also get Chinese food. There's like a Chinese buffet thing that they've got there as well. Some of the food is amazing. Is there anything else that you've enjoyed in the arena?
The Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel, yes.
I'll be honest. Though, despite the fact that someone was trying to shake it and make me cack my pants, I really enjoyed going up there and looking out over the fields and the actual arena itself.
Yeah, beautiful.
How much is it?
$5.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you didn't join us, did you? I think you were watching Guns N' Roses, maybe?
Yeah, you probably... I looked like an ant to you, probably, when you were up high.
Yeah, I think I remember going to... it was a couple of years ago now. There was a stall there selling inflatable... I want to say a bed, but it's not a bed because that gives the wrong impression. It's just an inflatable bag that you can lay on.
Oh yeah, that was part of one of your other episodes for your 2018 your blogs that you do for yeah, we mentioned that it looks like a particular body part of a woman when it's been blown up.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that. Yes, mine's in yellow, and I took it to Gran Canaria on holiday and laid on it on the beach. So it was great. It's a perfect festival type of thing, actually, and there's just lots of things that you would never really see anywhere else in the arena. So how do you get to the arena from the campsites?
You walk. No. So from the village, obviously via the new layout, it's what I would say would be south of the village, and it's concrete walking pathway all the way around. And it apparently only takes about 7 minutes from the new layout.
Oh yeah, so the way that we're all familiar with as previous downloaders, it's going to be different, isn't it, from next year?
Yeah, it's completely different. I mean, if you and I weren't doing the RIP experience, I still think we'd have loved it doing the general camping, purely because they have moved the arena within, and I quote, a 7-minute walk to the arena now. So there's literally hardly any sort of walk.
Lee, I think me and you we walked it the opposite way. We walked from the arena to where the new village will be.
We did, yeah.
On the way back. I can't actually remember how long it took, but it probably was around sort of 10 minutes, or we weren't exactly pacing it, but
no, so we had obviously all our stuff on our backs, obviously, and walking from what was the general campsite last year to the car park, which took forever. But
it's a lot more enjoyable than walking through all the mud.
Yeah, from the arena entrance to the tarmac lake. Yeah, I think 10 minutes is a good ballpark of a time limit.
Yeah, it's a fair old walk, as things are, and it's I reckon it's probably half an hour to get from the campsites to the actual stage. So it's good that they've changed all of that, because the arena is huge. It used to be in the middle of the actual circuit at Donington Racing Circuit.
Yeah.
But it's still a huge area now. So when you go to the arena, when you buy a ticket for download, can everybody have access to the arena?
Yeah. there are different sets of tickets that you can buy, but they all do grant you access to the arena. Whether it be, again, your weekend arena only tickets, you're not camping, but again, the arena's open for you. Your day tickets, your specific day, and your 5 and 3 night camping. As far as I'm aware, there is no, unless you haven't got a ticket, there's no limitations on who can't get in.
There's at least one restricted area, which is VIP access. It's like the VIP bar area.
So the guest area, yeah. So you've got to have a RIP ticket to enjoy the experience of the guest area and obviously the RIP camping.
I always found it a little bit misleading, that though. Maybe it was just my misunderstanding of it. But the RIP guest area, you sort of assume that the bands are going to be hanging out back there, and that you're going to meet some interesting people. It's not. It's just people like you and me who have bought tickets and want to pay an extra 50p on every pint.
Well, some people have said they have met some bands and stuff there. Like that's where they'll go. Apparently, that's where they'll go for a drink. Maybe you've just been unlucky and not seen them. But again, from not having any experience at all, yeah, I mean, that's what you'd assume. You'd assume you could bump into someone that's just been on stage, but
yeah, I've never seen it. But the arena is full of surprises. You'll spend most of your time there. And because you've got, like I say, 4 stages, you've got the NXT wrestling as well.
Of course.
You've got basically what you've paid for is a ticket to the arena, no matter what you're doing else at Download. Mm-hmm. You've got so much to see and do there that is where it all happens, really. But it does open and close at set times. I think it's about midday when it opens. Is that right?
So on the Friday...
Midday on Friday.
Yep. And then 10 a.m. on the Saturday and Sunday.
10 a.m., really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I'm usually asleep.
You were, yes. I do vaguely remember you saying that you didn't get into the arena till probably about, on the Saturday, I think it was about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because you slept.
I missed Elvana. I really wanted to see Elvana, the Nirvana tribute group fronted by an Elvis impersonator. Which just sounded amazing because I love Nirvana. I'm not a massive fan of Elvis, but I can appreciate the act, and I really wanted to see it, and I'm told it was great. So
Dave, did you see it? Because I know I didn't.
No, I missed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that. But that's the arena for you. Don't forget, you can ask us questions or give us your viewpoint by sending us a voice message. Go to anchor.fm/Festpod and click on message. Tell us your do's and don'ts. Tell us about something we've missed, or just give us your opinion. That's at anchor.fm/Festpod and just click on message. Next up, we'll look back on some of our memories of Download in the legend. In this section, we'll look back on some of our memories of Downloads gone by. My one memory that will live with me forever is of in 2016. It was sort of midday, and I was heading into the arena, and all of a sudden, the heavens opened out of nowhere, and this seems to be a thing at Donington. The rain just absolutely bucketed down, and you should have seen the crowds. It was like it was raining acid or something. There was screaming, there was running, because I think before that day it had been. It did not look like it was going to absolutely throw it down. And so none of us had come out prepared for rain. I think I was wearing a pair of colourful leggings.
I was dressed in an all-in-one Spider-Man morph suit and wellies. That was it. So yeah, it was just before Bathe Metal came on because they were delayed because of the rain because it got onto the stage. And yeah, like you say, the heavens opened and I got absolutely soaked. My boots got filled with water as well.
Oh my God.
And we went. So me and my fiance, we went and got some emergency ponchos, but we just had to go back to the tent. We were absolutely soaking wet, dripping wet through, and we had to go back and just re-prepare because, yeah, like you said, the weather on the Wednesday and Thursday was amazing. It was blistering heat.
Yeah, it was.
Literally, I camped with a person who actually had his nose blistered by the sun. And yeah, we all prepared for. Oh, it's a bit cloudy. It's not too bad. It's still warm. Don't worry about any sort of waterproofing. And then, yeah, lo and behold, we all got soaked.
It wasn't just rain; it was monsoon rain.
I think the worst bit was just trying to walk up the hill of, was it Red Camp or Pink Camp? I can't remember now. And obviously, the first few days was fine because it was just grass, but as soon as the torrential rain, it was literally like just a mudslide. So trying to walk up and down that every day was a bit of a chore.
Every day after that, yeah. The thing is about Donington is it has its own climate, which no one believes until they actually go there and experience it for themselves. It's weird. So you've got when you go to download, you've got to prepare for absolutely anything. And if you don't, you regret it, basically.
Heat wave or monsoon, yeah, you need to prepare for either.
Sandstorm, ice, hail, absolutely anything. Dave, what's your memory from download?
I remember, I think it was 2019, and Lee actually recommended this band called Sumo Psycho. They played on the in the Avalanche tent, and I remember through one singer started to like jump down into the crowd to do some crowd surfing, and there was a boy, he must be like 10 or 11 or something, on his dad's shoulders, and from what I remember, there wasn't any other like kids around, but he was like loving it, loving the music. And the singer said, like, take me over to this boy. So the whole crowd basically crowd surfed her over to this boy, and then she gave him a high five. Yeah.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Imagine having a memory like that when you're 10 years old. Like, yeah, I went and saw one of my favorite bands, and she's been crowd surfed over, and she came and gave me a high five. I think that's sort of an amazing thing. I think Five Finger Death Punch did something similar in 2015. They got two random kids from the front row up on stage, sat them down just in front of the drums, and had almost like a live, private, or what, semi-private, obviously with the thousands of people in front of them, like semi-private set of Five Finger Death Punch. And I think, yeah, imagine being those kids and getting that sort of experience. Oh, it'd be crazy.
It's that kind of spirit at download that I just love, without even thinking about it, just going over and you know, trusting a crowd at download to crowd surf you over to high five a kid. Just amazing, you know. I mean, what an atmosphere as well, I can imagine.
Well, I mean, you can imagine you get numpties in any sort of crowd, but I think there is that sort of respect for the artists, that if they ask you to do something, you do it. You don't want to abuse them. You don't want to upset them in any sort of way, because you've paid money to go see these people and you respect them for it. They make you happy in a way. So yeah.
Except for that time when we went to see Skindred, and he split the crowd in half, and half was more vocal than the other when he was asking them to shout. And what did he tell us to do?
Oh, do you know what? I can't remember, but that sort of thing. Oh, I love that. It's sort of again, this is a left versus right sort of thing. It's fun. It's fun banter.
That was a fun gig. That was. Lee, what's your memory of download?
Mine's quite a sad one. I'd gone to see Devon Townsend by myself. I know Dave was in the crowd, I think, but obviously we must have got either split up or I went on my own. And to be fair, it was the best set I've actually ever seen at Download. Devon Townsend is amazing, and I'm hopefully going to see him again next summer. but just before they played, Offer Your Light, he encouraged everyone to. He was making a big old speech about friendship and how everyone knows we're such a close and tight knit community, and then he encouraged everybody to look to the person to the left of you and give them a hug. We're friends. We're all in this together. Blah blah blah. And I looked, and everyone else was hugging. I was like, I've got no one to hug.
Oh no! Oh.
And I felt as if I had no one to hug. I looked around, and thought, this is really sad. And I jumped into the next crowd that I could see next to me that were hugging, and 2 or 3 people looked around at me. They were like, "Yeah, come here, join us." I was like, "Oh, thank God."
Do you know
I'm not
what?
on my own.
At Download, I think that's one of the few places that you could get away with that, because anywhere else you would be looked at like you were an alien.
Yeah, totally agree.
That's awkward. That I hate when you get that at gigs and they're like, look at the person to the left of you, give them a hug. Look at the person to the right of you, give them a hug. And I'm like, ooh, I don't ever want to. Really, I don't ever want to.
But you can't now. Not after social distancing.
No, I know they're not going to do that anymore, are they? Do you understand that, Dave? Do you ever get that sort of feeling?
Yeah, definitely. It's especially at Download, you just get into this just vibe, don't you? Because you're there, you're enjoying yourself. You've probably had a few drinks, and you're just there to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's a mutual level of comfort, I think. So some people, you get that, like Dave said, you get that nice little buzz on after having a couple of drinks, and you don't want to be rude or horrible. You want to have a good time, and everybody else is feeling the same thing. You just want to have a good time.
Yeah, and you drop your guard as well. I think drink has a lot to do with it, but you even so, I think the atmosphere just helps you to drop your guard and be friendly to everybody else, and just have that sort of Download fun atmosphere.
Yeah,
and everyone's always friendly back as well. Like no one ever takes anything too seriously if you accidentally bump into them or anything like that, because everyone's doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's all we've got time for today. We'll see you on our socials. Just look for Festpod. And don't forget to send us a voice message by going to anchor.fm/Festpod and clicking on message. Tell us what Download means to you. Ask our advice about going, or give us your memories of going to Download. That's at anchor.fm/Festpod and just click on message. So that's it for this time. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
A Wilco Productions podcast. Dave's got a soft one.